Microsoft's about to make your old games better. If there is one defining characteristic of the Xbox brand, and I'm not talking Halo, and I'm not talking the Duke controller. While I would say that those are defining characteristics of Xbox, I think Microsoft's legacy with the Xbox brand is backwards compatibility. They have done a phenomenal job allowing you to take old titles with you from each generation forward. It's a really nice benefit of buying into the ecosystem, knowing that your games will always come with you, at least so far through the generations of Xbox. And Microsoft has done a good job over the years adding more and more titles to backwards compatibility, and now they are taking the next logical step. And actually, they've talked about this a little bit before the launch of the Xbox Series S and X. They talked about taking your old titles and not just making them available, but making them better. And we've seen some of this arrive with things like Auto HDR, which is something that adds more dynamic range to the visuals of the game. But now they're taking the next step, and it's going to be coming this spring, and it's called FPS Boost. And is exactly as the name sounds, that's exactly what you're going to get with select older titles. And right now it's a really limited run of Far Cry 4, new Super Lucky's Tale, Sniper Elite 4, UFC 4, and Watch Dogs 2. Your older titles are going to have a massive frame rate boost, anywhere from doubling to quadrupling. So we're looking between 60 frames per second and up to 120 frames per second, depending on the title, for no additional cost. Like, if you just play your game, you're going to get this FPS boost, and it just comes automatically down to your title. Now, the really cool thing here is you might be thinking, but Brad, I never own these games, so this doesn't really impact me. Oh, but it does. If you are subscribing to Game Pass and you play one of these titles, you're gonna get the benefit of that FPS boost. So it's a real easy way to take content that was from yesterday and make it feel more modern, make it feel more smooth, and make it just look better on the TV that you're playing today. So you get to relive those old memories, but in a modern, high frame rate HDR manner, which is really nice. This is something that Microsoft does exceptionally well, and I think they need to get more credit for this, because yes, you want the new games. I'm totally on board that Microsoft has to keep investing in new games, but playing the games you played yesterday as a child in new ways and developing new memories, that's worthwhile too. Now, there are a couple things to note here too. If you really do want to relive that nostalgic feeling of your old titles, what you can do is you can turn off the FPS boost, provided it's on that title. You can also turn off Auto HDR, so you will get that classic feeling, although you're probably playing it on a much larger TV than you were on the OG Xbox or anything else like that. So I guess you could drag out the old CRT if you could find a way to connect your Xbox to it. Anyways, FPS Boost is going to be coming out to more and more titles. I think this is going to be the next, quote unquote, wave of updates for backwards compatibility. Microsoft for a long time would love to tell us, like, hey, look, we're adding X number of new backwards compatibility titles. The next wave is going to be the obvious. We're adding FPS Boost to X number of titles. Now, hopefully in the updated store, or when this feature does roll out, they'll actually tell us, make it easier to find these titles, because that is something I would honestly probably call out. And it's another feature or a reason that you should upgrade to a Series S or X. That being said, with only about 5 titles getting it today, we need to see more titles added and the catalog be boosted, if you will, significantly before it becomes like a big deal. But right now, Microsoft is starting with the more popular titles, and I suspect that they'll continue to expand that ring to more and more popular titles that you might be playing or maybe want to play again with the boosted FPS. So that's really what they're announcing. It's not like a major announcement. Like, I considered yesterday's announcement of the headphones like pretty major, because they're $99 and they look to be a really good deal. But this is just Microsoft doing what Microsoft does. They're not forgetting about their backwards compatible titles. Yes, they made them available, but they're not just walking away. They're making them quite literally better than when you originally played them, which is a big deal. And so I think Microsoft deserves some credit for that. And so as we learn more and as we see more games added to the title or to the experience, we'll make sure to keep you updated. So what do you got to do? You got to keep it subscribed here, because the only BS is me.